Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Happy Monday night, everyone. Sports Hounds are live. Real Talk Studios, Runnymede, New Jersey. I'm Rob Brakeman. He's Greg Malakovic. Frank Vesby's producing the show, per usual. Lot to talk about. The big game is set. As always, the Sports Hounds are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Dr. Paul Vidal, 3 convenient locations. Visit SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com for more information on their services. Bringing us to our ATS Sports Poll of the Night, ATS Sports Picks. Visit their website, atsportspicks.com. Use the promo code A2D, 20% off their services. The big game set. Poll question of the night. The 49ers will win Super Bowl 54, defeating Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. Line opened 1-point favorite.
Yeah, 1.5.
One and a half in favor of the Chiefs, which I guess is fair. Now, when I made the show sheet, I thought the Niners were going to win, and that was going to be my pick tonight. Obviously, we have 2 weeks to kind of decide, which I hate. Super Bowl should be next week.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But now I'm kind of leaning towards the Chiefs and Andy. To me, Greg, it's the quarterback matchup.
Okay.
Jimmy G, 8 passes, 77 yards against the Green Bay Packers in the NFC title game. Obviously, they ran all over the Green Bay Packers, who just got gashed. And then in the divisional round, Jimmy G, only 117 yards passing. Can the Niners overcome Patrick Mahomes and this fake Madden offense with a game manager at quarterback?
Yeah, because I think he can do enough to make enough big plays with the defense he's got. They didn't have to do anything in the passing game the last 2 weeks because that run game was just absolutely annihilating the other the defense for the Packers, and then who'd they play?
The Vikings.
The Vikings, right? So, neither one of those defenses right now at this point of the year stops the run very well. The Vikings were missing some key guys, I believe, and the Packers couldn't stop the run all year. So to me, it's not, why would you pass when you can gash them? It's a question I ask Doug every week. Why do we pass the ball 700 times with this wide receiver core?
You and me both on that one.
Shanahan, not to sit here and, go all Chucks on him, but Shanahan proved that you
Mr. Niner.
That you can run the ball effectively. I'm not saying that, the Eagles shouldn't pass the ball but 8 times, because when you have a weapon like Carson, you should throw the ball. But at the same time, you didn't need to do anything different to beat those teams.
No. Now, that brings me to Kyle Shanahan. You have a coaching matchup of Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid. Does Kyle Shanahan have the edge on Andy Reid as far as the coaching matchup?
To me, it turns out like it's one of those things where Kyle Shanahan's not going to be intimidated by Andy Reid, right? Kyle Shanahan's been around the game. His dad's one of the best coaches of all time, right? Obviously not the best, but one of, right? He's up there. He's a Hall of Famer.
Couple Super Bowls.
Yeah. So he's been around the game. He's been around a big type of game, a Super Bowl before. It's like Doug, being around the game as a backup quarterback for so long and coming in against the Patriots and not scared of Belichick. And I think it's the same thing here. He's not going to be scared, whereas McVay, his butthole tightened up real quick and they couldn't do anything offensively. I don't think that's going to be the issue.
Well, I think we can both agree that this Super Bowl has all the makings to be a classic as opposed to the total dud we had last year, a 13-3.
Yeah,
really
no, absolutely.
Massacre. I mean, it's only a 10-point game, but the Rams never had a chance.
No, it was never that close.
It was a total joke. But you look at the Chiefs, and is that defense going to be able to hold up? I mean, they've been playing since, I think, since week 11. They've given up less than 2 touchdowns a game. Coming into this game.
You mean the Niners?
No, the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah,
Chiefs
yeah,
defense had their struggles early in the season. Spags has got it together. They have, I think it's less than 14 points a game since week 11 they've given up. Are they going to be able to stand the test of this high-powered running attack? You look at Kyle Shanahan. He's done a tremendous job. Whether he's coach of the year or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Harbaugh did a great job. But a couple guys did a really good job.
You got to throw Matt LaFleur in there. I didn't think the Packers
Matt
were going to.
LaFleur, 13-3.
I didn't think the Packers were going to be that this year.
Yeah, Peyton, he missed Breeze for
6 weeks,
6 weeks. Still, nearly had a bye, but Spag's going to have his work cut out for him with Deebo Samuel and Emmanuel Sanders, who are two great receivers.
Yep.
They're down Tevin Coleman, which I haven't really seen anything from Matt Breida in
Well,
10
I think
weeks.
The emergence of Mostert and the change in philosophy with Tevin Coleman, adjusting to more of getting him out on the swing, kind of let Breida just fall away. But he's still there.
He's going to have to play.
And you're going to have to get something out of him in 2 weeks because you're right. Tevin Coleman's, if not already out, more than likely he's out. I never know the injury. I never got the injury.
His arm was.
I know he was in a sling, but 2 weeks.
Dangling.
2 weeks, and the NFL medication does a lot.
Yeah. Player safety, but
player
they're going to
safety.
shoot him up.
But yeah, they're going to shoot him up. Yep.
So a lot of dynamic, and then Raheem Mostert. What did he have? 140. I kind of checked out on the NFC game at halftime.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch much of either game. I was out working yesterday. But yeah, what do you 220 overall?
220 overall. He had a $160 and 3 touchdowns in the first half.
It's unreal.
Now all the Eagles fans want to say they had him in 2015. He's been cut 7 times, guys.
Yeah.
He's the Nick Foles of running backs. That's my comparison. He's an
and that's fair. And that's fair. Because,
he's an okay player, and then when everyone is watching the NFC Championship game at 6:40, the guy just busts off for the best game of his career.
And he wins me at DraftKings. So
yeah.
I had Mahomes and Mostert.
I'm in that fantasy thing I was telling you about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful so you have a lineup next week. So I went Tevin Coleman instead of Mostert.
Oh, okay.
Well, Tevin Coleman, he had 2 touchdowns against the Vikings.
No, absolutely. Yep.
So it's just damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's tough to I get on the comments. From the fans.
No, absolutely. So, yeah. And it was funny, too. I thought I had taken Mostert out of the lineup. And once he starts going off, I'm like, please let me have him in there.
Now, are you one of these guys that'll fill out a bunch of lineups and just mix and match?
No, I only do one. I do one with my buddies, $10 a week, and just a group of 10, 15 of us, whoever gets in before the deadline.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, so it's just I do one lineup. I can't spend the 20, 30 minutes every day doing 7 different lineups like Wilson. I know he loves doing it, and it's not a shot. You know what I mean? He does really well with them, and normally if I need help, I go to him because I know he does well.
Don't you have to? How can he not have a good one?
Yeah.
If you do 7 of them.
But he does really well doing it. So, but I can't take that time. It's just I would rather.
No, because I'm so stubborn. As you know, I'm pretty stubborn, passionate guy. I'll get my one lineup together. This is it. I got it. I'm gonna be the guy on the commercial
so many times
with the big ass check with the $1 million and never have to work again. And I'm like, what am I doing this for? This is wrong. The one I just did is good. It's like my NCAA tournament bracket.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and do all these combinations. I did my first bracket. It's perfect. I'm going after it. So what do the Chiefs have to do to combat this monster defensive line that John Lynch and the San Francisco 49ers have put together?
Well, it's crazy too because you look at this team that has been put together, and who's the guy doing it? It's a football guy.
Yeah.
Right? It's a football guy putting together a football team, and he knows where to win. And, Andy always did the same thing. You build in the trenches, right? But they didn't miss. You know what I mean? They didn't miss. You're like, all right, you want to come up and get Mitchell? I'll trade back and take
one spot.
Yeah, I'll trade back one spot and still get the same guy I wanted. I forget the kid's name out of Stanford.
Solomon Thomas.
Solomon Thomas.
It's 4 first-round picks they have.
And then they got the DN out of Oregon a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think that was a chip guy, though, no?
Bruckner? Yeah, Bruckner.
Buckner.
Yeah. But, yeah, you're right. That's a chip guy. But but Chip knew what he was getting.
Well, you take
Bosa.
You take Bosa third.
What they have to do is they can't fall behind like
No.
they've done the last 2 weeks. They can't fall behind.
The Chiefs, you
mean?
mean?
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs fall behind, it's going to be very different and difficult to get there.
No, because then Bosa can just pin his ears back and just go after it. He doesn't have to have any responsibility other than make sure Mahomes
stays in the pocket.
And you can go after and try and get sacks.
Mahomes is that good that he can get away, but that's what makes this defense so good as well.
So who poses a bigger threat to make big plays? The Tannehill matchup that they had last week or the Jimmy G matchup that they're going to have in 2 weeks in Miami?
I think it's a Jimmy G matchup because I think he's got better weapons outside of the running back than what Tannehill did. And, yes, A.J. Brown had a great year, but outside of A.J. Brown, who were you throwing to? Corey Davis, who can't catch a cold? Jonnu Smith. I mean, he had a great grab 2 weeks ago, but that was his only grab of the day. You know what I'm saying? So, you look at the Niners, and like you said, you already got Emmanuel Sanders, you got Deebo Samuel, throw George Kittle in there. And you got some legit weapons that you can use.
And they haven't used any of them yet.
Right.
None of them, because they've just run the ball down everyone's. I mean, Minnesota. I mean, that was cute what they did, beating Minnesota, beating the Saints down there and down in the Superdome. But they caught the Saints sleeping for whatever reason.
Yep. And that's it. That's a typical Sean Payton, Drew Brees playoff performance
He's such a crumb, Sean Payton.
That's what you get.
I can't stand that guy.
That's what you get for running it up.
Now they're going to change the offensive pass interference rules.
Yeah. That's what you get for running up against the Colts on Drew Brees' record night, putting up 45.
Yeah, and they ran it up the week before against Carolina, a team that's just clearly packed it in for weeks, and you put up 50 points on them, and then karma comes back to bite you in the ass.
Exactly.
You have a big first half. You let CMC get his numbers, get his bonuses, and then you go in and you take the Vikings seriously and go play Green Bay.
Yeah.
Based on what I saw from Green Bay,
they would beat Green Bay.
They would beat Green Bay.
Yep.
Instead, they had to play Seattle, I mean, they have Russ, but they had no running backs. Marshawn Lynch, totally washed.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have decent receivers in Metcalf and Lockett. But
and you showed with his usage of Marshawn that there was no illusions that he was great.
No, they needed a body.
They just needed a body that knew the system.
And they
and so
threw him out there.
And so cool. Russ was there, you know what I mean? Marshawn was there.
But, I mean, and they were up 28-3 in that game, and they nearly coughed it up.
Yeah.
This defense that's supposed to be much improved.
You got Russ, and Russ makes things happen.
So, and then they play a real team in the Niners, and they get smoked. So the
shellacked.
The Vikings really threw a whole kink in the NFC playoffs.
Yeah,
a conference that I thought was pretty loaded throughout the season. It didn't fall that way, and the Niners were able to pretty much walk to a Super Bowl.
If you would have looked at this before the year, you would have thought that the Vikings being a top 4 team in the NFC wouldn't have been that far-fetched. You know what I mean? Because they had what everyone thought was a decent team coming in with a division that you didn't know what you're getting for Green Bay with a brand new head coach. Aaron Rodgers are going to stay healthy. So them being a Final Four team in the NFC isn't that far-fetched, but the way the season played out
they're a team that they had everything go right.
Yeah,
Stefanski did a terrific job with Cousins, which everyone's hating on that hire by the Browns. I actually don't hate the hire at all. If you can get that out of Kirk Cousins, who I think isn't really that good, I think a guy that's actually talented in Baker, he can really get something out of him.
Yeah, I mean you gotta surround that team with an actual offensive guy, and that's what they did with Stefanski.
Not Freddie Kitchens, who doesn't know what he's doing.
Who doesn't know what he was doing at Alabama, let alone.
If I were them, I'd be giving away Odell Beckham.
It'll probably come and happen.
I'd be giving him away. I'd get him out. I'd take one of these receivers to go with Landry that draft's loaded with receivers. I mean,
it is loaded.
He's just Odell. He's just a bad guy, And his buddy Antonio Brown isn't much further. I mean, did you see his antics at the national championship game?
Who?
Odell.
He was celebrating his team. That's his school. He
No,
went there.
There's multiple. He's clearly. I've been drunk a lot in my life, and he looked.
I'm not saying
inebriated.
he's not.
You see the one where he's on the megaphone screaming at everyone. Everyone's trying to get the megaphone away from him in like the concourse.
What do you expect?
No,
you expect him to
I
be
don't.
a model
I'm just
citizen?
I'm just commenting.
Yeah, no,
on
I
it.
get you. That's what I expect out of Odell once LSU wins the national championship.
But he didn't do anything to help them win except give them Beats
he gave
headphones.
Him buttloads of money.
All right, we got the fam. Ralphie Delavecchio, let's go Lakers. Shut up. No one. I think that's the last game for the Sixers before the All-Star break.
Is the Lakers here, right?
Yes. So.
Ralphie said he's buying a suite for everybody. So
awesome.
Ralphie said he's in on a suite.
Awesome. Yeah. For free?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Gentlemen. All food and beverage, too.
And then Charles checks in. Check out Charles tomorrow at 8 on Birds of a Feather. Gentlemen, yes, the Niners will win the Super Bowl. They were my midseason Super Bowl pick, and I'm sticking with them. It's too close to call for me right now. I really don't know. And I know Charles is like Mr. Kyle Shanahan and Mr. San Francisco 49er.
Yeah.
And that's good for him. He totally nailed it in terms of their success. I thought they were a year away. I wasn't really sure what Jimmy G was going to be.
What's funny is
I think the Emmanuel Sanders trade was kind of what put them over the top in the middle of the season.
What's funny is I actually said last year that they were a playoff team. They would contend for a wild card and be a playoff team, and obviously Jimmy gets hurt, and then now this year they come out and they're that team. So it's I was kind of on them because I just thought Shanahan was going to bring a different philosophy and a different mindset than a college guy in Chip. You know what I'm saying? And, I saw something today. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Go ahead. I think I know where you're going. But
well, once the Eagles got rid of Chip, they won a Super Bowl in, year 3 or 2?
2.
Right? And then now
this is year 3. This is year 3 without.
Outside of Chip.
So hire Chip Kelly, fire him, and then 3 years later, you're in.
You're in.
He's such a nerd. He's running UCLA into the ground now.
I think that'd actually be pretty decent. That quarterback's pretty good as a freshman. He's got talent for what Chip Kelly's going to run in college. He's got some talent.
He doesn't
run
what he ran at Oregon though.
Well, he doesn't have the athletes though either. He's working with UCLA, who's like the 7th team in LA.
Yeah. And we're getting the Sixers, we're getting the Eagles coaching, we're getting that Major League Baseball sign stealing is actually have an objective person sitting next to me other than a Brad, who Brad will be back next week, a Yankee homer that just thinks he got cheated at a couple World Series.
Yeah, because the Yankees don't overpay everybody to get their cheat. So.
I'm sure the Yankees don't have. I'm sure the Yankees and the Phillies and the Dodgers. I'm sure they don't have little schemes put in place to try and steal everybody's signs.
No. And back when everyone didn't have the money they have now, they still had a loaded payroll. So what do you want, right? All right, cool. That's in the rules. So it was cheating because there was no rule set. Go ahead.
Rosca's ready for the Super Bowl.
I'm shocked it's not a Royal Rumble comment. Or did we just not get there yet?
We didn't get there yet. He'll get there. It's probably on the tube. Yeah, I thought the Royal Rumble was last night.
Yeah,
I looked it up because the game was I'll throw this on.
Royal
Rumble was always my favorite growing up when I was actually a diehard fan.
That was actually my first pay-per-view event I attended was a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, you went to the Royal Rumble
over in Philly, probably about 5-6 years ago. It's a good time.
Who won?
I think it was a Roman Reigns win.
Oh yeah, when everyone freaked out.
Yeah, everyone freaked out.
Classic Philly fans.
Yep.
Let's see what else we got here. Green Bay lost on the defensive side of the ball. They got shredded by the run game. That's from Bob Brinkman. I don't understand. I don't know who their defensive coordinator. No, it's Pettin actually.
Yeah, it's Pettin.
So I don't like.
You can't talk about him. He's a South Jersey guy.
Isn't that the mark of a great team where everybody knows they're going to run the ball,
yep,
and they still did it anyway. Packers couldn't do a damn thing about
it's just like you look
Mostert running it down their throat yesterday.
You know, on a regular basis, like you look at, you know, what the Patriots do. You know they're going to dump off to the backs and they still beat you, right? New Orleans, you know they're throwing to Michael Thomas every time. Still catches 12 balls a game. You know, it's like, but you're right. When you have something good working for you, why do you go away from it?
It's a good question. Chris Stein, Chiefs have to adjust with a great ball control offense. If they start out like the last two playoff games, San Francisco will control the clock and win the game. I mean, I think we're in agreement on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to start way better, and that's kind of Andy's MO in these big games. He's it's funny because I picked the Titans yesterday just because. Not because I hate Andy Reid, and people who hate Andy Reid and root for him to fail, I don't get. I get it was frustrating at times when he was the coach of the Eagles, but, you know, everything heals over time, and you should be rooting for him to get a Super Bowl.
I don't see where I have to root for him, though.
You don't have to root for him.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all those people.
But you shouldn't.
I'm not rooting against them, but I'm not rooting for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up rooting for whoever I lay a couple stacks down on.
Yeah.
So it very well could end up being Andy Reid, but it's going to be more the Chiefs than Andy Reid because we know what Andy Reid is in a big game.
No, he's 15 to 20 scripted plays, and they're not going to change no matter what, and then we'll see if he adjusts after the scripted plays are over. It's funny because I want Andy to win, but, I've read this book a lot. He's favored at home in the title game. I'm gonna go with the Titans here, and I'm getting 7.5, 8 points.
You're getting more than a touchdown.
Stop the run and make Jimmy G throw more than 7 times. That's from Bob Brinkman. Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
They can't win the game throwing the ball 8 times like they did yesterday. You can't.
I think he can do it. That's the difference in Tannehill.
Chris Stein, here's an Eagles question. Do you think Howie has to have a better draft than the past year, watching all the wide receivers that are in the playoffs that he passed up on? I mean, that goes without saying.
Before the second half of that question, the answer was yes.
Yeah, it's yes.
You know, when your roster is this old, when you were scared to trade draft picks for whatever trade needed to happen, whether you were on the Jalen Ramsey trade, whether you were on the Emmanuel Sanders, Mohamed Sanu, whatever it was, if you were that afraid to give up picks because, we needed them, instead of going out and getting someone that would help this team right now, you better hit now.
I mean, you look at the teams that are in the Super Bowl, and I know the Eagles had a cute little run to win 4 straight against awful teams to get in the playoffs, and then Carson gets hurt in the wild card game, a game which I think we both agree that they would have won if he didn't get hurt because Seattle just didn't really have much. You look at where the Eagles are from a talent standpoint and where these two teams that are playing this weekend are, it's night and day.
It is.
And this is a huge offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles to get themselves back in the upper echelon of the league.
Our talent is aging. That's our issue. Our guys that are our most talented are also some of our oldest.
Yes, and Fletcher Cox can't have 3 sacks next year.
No,
can't happen. You need to get some playmaker, whether even past the receivers, because they need playmakers. They need a playmaker at linebacker.
Yep.
They need a playmaker at safety. You pay Malcolm. There's a huge offseason because.
Yeah, what do you do? Do you pay Malcolm the money and then now it hurts you 5 years down the road?
Because you look at the East. I like Judge. I like that hire.
Everyone's gotten better in the East.
Just from a pure coaching standpoint. We'll see what they do talent-wise. And then, I know it's the popular thing to make fun of Jason Garrett because he was a complete bozo as a head coach. He's not the head coach in New York.
Yep.
He's an offensive coordinator. I don't think that's a bad hire at all.
I thought it was a very good hire. Now, you said it well, though. The talent is going to show whether that's ultimately going to work or not. But you're going to surround a rookie head coach with an NFL head coach that's done it for 10, 15 years. That's a good hire, especially on your offensive side of the ball where you think you have your quarterback, you have your running back, and you do have a nice stable of young wide receivers.
I don't think any of the teams that needed a head coach made a bad hire.
I don't think so.
I love Rule.
Yep.
Kuechly retires. looks like they're going to trade Newton. So but that's what Rule does.
That's what he does. He takes
a
bunch of scraps and makes it in the summer.
8-9 win team at Temple.
But as long as you have McCaffrey, you're not starting off bad.
Like DJ Moore's pretty good too.
Yeah.
They have guys.
Yep.
They'll have the 7th pick in the draft, and I think they're gonna be calling every day leading up to the draft to try and get Burrow because they got Brady as their offensive coordinator.
Right.
And the the Bengals are stupid. They might trade.
Yeah. They say they're not, but you're right. They might.
Christian Carroll. They have to nail this draft. No excuses.
Absolutely.
That's in reference to the Eagles. What do you guys think of Laviscal Chenault, wide receiver out of Colorado? I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I mean he
tear his ACL.
He's a hot name. I think he might have done it last year. It might have been this
year. Tear his ACL.
He's a hot name that everyone's bringing up. And I wouldn't hate it, but if given a chance to go get a wide receiver from LSU or Alabama or a wide receiver from Colorado, I'm picking the Blue Bloods. I'm picking the teams that play talent every week.
SEC, Big Ten, Clemson.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm picking those guys.
That's it.
I mean, it's not a shot at Colorado, but that's a shot at Colorado.
Yeah. It's a shot. I mean, we just got JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Yeah. From
Stanford.
Yeah.
Pac-12. Not a fan.
Stinks.
We'll see if he can. You giving up on him or
no? I just think he stinks. I'm not giving up on him though.
I thought he was going to be able to stretch the field, not vertically.
I thought he was going to be able to get on the field. That's an issue.
Horizontally.
You got to get on the field before you can stretch it though.
It's true.
I can stretch the field too, but I'm never getting on the field, and it's going to take me about a day to get down the field.
And then, moving on to the Eagles. I mean, are they just waiting for Kafka to be the offensive coordinator?
It seems like that's where they're going. You had good names in here, whether they were qualified or not.
They're clearly not getting Jim Caldwell. Wouldn't they have hired him already?
You would have thought he's available. So why? Yeah, if that's your guy, then go get him. So it seems like they're waiting. And again, it goes to show. Good or bad, that this is Doug's offense. It's always going to be Doug's offense, and he's just looking for a guy to fill out the desk thing that says offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's why I was very intrigued by, and I got crushed for saying it, but I don't care. I get crushed for everything I say on Facebook. I was intrigued by the Graham Harrell interview,
and that would have been a logical one because that's a guy coming from college who's probably looking to get into the pros. But probably isn't qualified to be an actual legit OC. So you bring his knowledge and his mindset into with Doug, and yeah, that would have made sense.
Doug gets stagnant. The offense gets stagnant sometimes. I know they didn't have the weapons.
Absolutely.
And me and you, we're kind of on the same page when it comes to Doug, because everyone nationally and locally just sees the 4-game winning streak to end the season,
right, against
the bottom of the barrel teams of the league, and want to just call the guy the Wolf of Broad Street.
Right.
Which, whatever.
Good run.
You get credit for winning. I have no problem with that. But, I mean, to say that Doug had a great year this year, I mean, I'm not saying it. And everyone wants to say, oh, Graham Harrell is the air raid offense from Texas Tech. He's going to abandon the run even more than Doug. No, he's not going to abandon anything. He doesn't call plays. Our offensive coordinator doesn't call plays. Right. If we abandon the run and don't use Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, whatever players are playing running back next year, it's because Doug abandons the run.
Yeah.
Doug calls the plays. This is Doug's offense.
Correct.
That's why, a guy like Mike Kafka, who everyone wants to get excited about because he's the quarterback coach for Mahomes, it's the same thing in Kansas City. Andy Reid sits down next to Patrick Mahomes after every possession, damn near every possession. Yep. He's the quarterback coach. He calls plays. He's the offense coordinator. How much does Mike Kafka actually do as the quarterback coach?
Another name.
Look at Bieniemy. Bieniemy got no looks as a head coach. He doesn't do much.
Why? Because Andy only just now started letting him call plays.
And wasn't there a special deal where before Doug got hired, Andy would call the first half of the game, and then Doug would call
the second half of the game he called? That was the game they blew in the playoffs
against the Patriots.
Against the Patriots in the second
because
half.
it took them too long to score.
Yep.
And it's like, we can't give the ball back to Tom Brady.
2 days later, he's hired.
Yeah, and it's like we can't give the ball back to Tom Brady. Yeah, but you're down by 14, Holmes. Like you got to get it in, and hope you can make a stop or get an onside kick.
Yeah,
because that was when the Chiefs they didn't have Mahomes.
Yeah, that was Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
That was Alex Smith, but there's a game manager. They were a good team.
Yeah,
they were probably if they weren't favored, it was a close game.
Like they had Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
And they had Macklin, who was still.
Yep.
Oh yeah, but and then Jalen Williams. I wonder how much money we will have after Howie restructures some of these contracts. I think it's like high 30s they have right now.
I thought it was like 43.
42, 43.
Something like that.
Someone just.
But yeah.
I guess that's Frank. Did you look that up, Frank? 42 mil cap space. Is that from you? Yes. Okay, so Frank says it's 42 million. That's good enough for me. So they have $42 million in cap space. That's a lot.
Yeah, but you also have a lot of holes, or a lot of guys that may want money.
Well, I mean, clearly Malcolm wants his money because
Right.
6 seconds after they lost the playoff game to Seattle, he's barking about his contract when he didn't even have that good of a year.
The only good thing about it
there was
is
a month
he played
left
every
in the
year.
season, and he remembered, remember I was barking for money in the offseason, and I'm not even doing good?
Yeah.
Like I'm playing one defense, and everyone else around me is playing a different defense, and Stephon Diggs is going downtown on me all day long. Let me kick it into gear against these shit teams so I can get my money.
Ding, ding, ding. Again, his production increased when the teams decreased.
Yes, and Rodney McLeod, he didn't play good until the Giants game, the last game of the season, because he had a $250,000 bonus in his contract if the Eagles won the NFC East.
Yep.
It's funny how that works.
It's amazing how that works.
But, it's very possible that's why I'm not – I know everyone's, bookmarked into picking a receiver at 21, 22, whatever they're picking, but if they go DB at that pick –
Yeah.
I
just think a DB at that pick isn't almost a guaranteed starter right away versus a wide receiver.
I don't think Mills. I don't know if Mills is going to be here. Ronald Darby certainly is not going to be here.
No, but you figure Maddox will be back. Sidney's back. I'm saying the talent level of that guy, and I'm not saying it can't happen.
You have to make sure. I'm sick of these projects. You got to pick a guy at 20, even in the second round. Plug and play.
I don't disagree.
Plug and play. If you're serious about winning championships, you need to pick guys in the draft. They're going to start right away. Now, I think Dillard's going to be left tackle next year.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Over Peters. I mean, I don't want to say hopefully he's gone because he's been a great player and he didn't have that bad of a season. But you trade up for Dillard to be the left tackle of the future. When's the future?
Should be now. Unless Jason's willing to come back on a backup role, which
but I feel
the competitor in him is not, and then you're absolutely right where you're going. Someone else is going to pay him.
Someone else will pick him to be their left tackle.
There's 32, or there's probably 20, 25 worse left tackles than Jason Peters.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
So did you answer the poll question?
Yeah.
Back to that?
Reluctantly picking the Chiefs.
So you're going to disagree?
Yes. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take Mahomes and Andy. But the Niners, they might win. I don't know. I don't remember a Super Bowl where I've been this in flux. Usually I'm pretty decisive.
It's because it's always usually against the Patriots.
Yeah.
You're probably usually betting or picking against the Patriots.
It's true. And when the Eagles were in it in 2017,
right,
I had no doubt about it. After the Eagles beat Atlanta that year, I was like, okay, Case Keenum's not coming into the link and winning. There's no way. And, Nick Foles was just Nick Foles. And I just knew they were going to win. I think they were, 8-point dogs in that Super Bowl?
Yeah.
1,000% knew they were going to win. And then, what was it? Then it was, last year was McVay and Goff. They were
Rams
beating those guys. So
I'm going to agree to the poll. I do think the Niners
So
can.
you like the Niners.
And it has, again, it's not so much the offense, it's more or less the defense, right? Defense travels in these big games. Defense is what, we talked about earlier. If Kansas City gets down again early, are they going to be able to light this defense up? Look at the national championship game. When did that game change for LSU? When they started playing defense against Trevor Lawrence. The early portion of that game, Clemson went up and down the field, did whatever they wanted, and then once LSU figured it out and started playing defense, they started rolling, and Clemson's defense couldn't stop them, and then that switch flipped, and I think that's kind of what you're going to see this in 2 weeks is the San Francisco defense is that good. I think they're going to be able to contain, not shut down, contain that offense.
Don't you think that there's just like a no one can stop Mahomes right now kind of vibe going with the Chiefs? That's what I go back to. I can't get over the quarterback matchup.
And you're not wrong.
I can't get over the quarterback matchup.
It's a big matchup because he's obviously playing great right now. But
like,
where did we see for 10 years, where did we see with our great quarterback, who was the one that stopped him?
What do you mean? Who are we talking about? Donovan?
Yeah.
I mean, Ricky Manning Jr.
Andy Reid is where I was going.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, the stagnant offense at times, the slow starts, and then you get predictable.
Yeah, but, I mean, McNabb was an athlete that Andy Reid turned into a franchise quarterback, which is a credit to him. Mahomes is not only a superior athlete, but he is –
I'm not comparing McNabb and Mahomes. I'm just saying –
I understand.
The common denominator in a big game situation is Andy Reid.
Yeah, but you don't think Mahomes has more of an X factor than McNabb did?
Than young McNabb in that era? No. I mean, I'm not saying, McNabb changed the game that much, but he did just as equal sometimes. He wasn't as electric, but he was just as effective.
No, he was electric until he started lifting too many weights in the offseason, which totally derailed his career, in my opinion.
But, I mean, you saw earlier in the year, Mahomes got hurt, so he can get hit. You know what I mean? He can get contained. It's not like they're undefeated. They did lose games.
You're talking about the Chiefs now.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
Yeah, when Mahomes was hurt and they lost to Tennessee was like the one glaring loss that back in November was the one that surprised me. But, I mean, they lost to Green Bay without Mahomes.
Yeah. But I'm saying they're not undefeated. It's not like they're playing very well. I'm not going to say they're not playing well and they shouldn't be favorites. I'm gonna pick the defense because I think when it comes down to Garoppolo can make enough plays to keep them honest on the offense.
Is he really that good?
I didn't say he's good. I said he can make enough plays.
It just like
I will
who's
say,
a better quarterback, Jared Goff or Jimmy Garoppolo?
What offense? It comes down to the offense. I don't think Jared Goff's very good either. I think Jared Goff's good in that offense because that offense suits him. I think the Rams got what they wanted with the number one pick because they got their guy. I'm not saying, I wouldn't take Jimmy Garoppolo or Jared Goff over Carson Wentz, but I think for their offenses, they work. I bet you New England would love to have Jimmy Garoppolo still.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to play out.
It's going to be interesting. You know what I mean?
Really imagine him going to another team?
No, and especially when you factor in how much dead money there's going to be if he does leave.
Who's a free agent? No,
because of the way they structured his contracts. In order for them to make him a free agent, I think he's got $21 million in dead money.
Because he played at a very minimal cap hit.
Right,
the past couple years,
which is where the dead money comes into play. If he goes, if he stays, obviously it doesn't factor in. But if he goes, I think it's like almost $20 million in dead money.
So it's an Alshon Jeffrey type situation for. Where does he go though?
If Brady were retired, the Patriots would have 13.5 of dead money. If he re-signs with the Patriots, the number would be split over 20 and 21. So if he retires or goes play somewhere else, he got 13.5 dead money.
Where does he fit though? He didn't play that great last year.
He would fit in a situation like Carolina, San Diego. You know what I mean?
Where it's warm.
Where it's warm for most of the year. The offense is pretty set. They just kind of need a game manager at this point.
Chrome checks in. Check out Chrome tomorrow on Birds of a Feather at 8. He thinks it's Andy's year. Andy finally gets one. I sort of agree, but they can't fall behind like they have been. They really can't because they'll get buried. But, like, when you say, is the gap between the defenses bigger than the gap between the quarterbacks?
No.
The way the Chiefs are
No,
playing right now?
The Chiefs are playing a solid defense, so it makes that gap between Mahomes and Garoppolo that much bigger.
I mean, Nick Foles beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. So, I mean, maybe I'm putting too much stock into the quarterback matchup.
And usually as it comes down to, it wasn't necessarily, it was the defense more. I mean, yes, Nick did put up the points, obviously, because, at some point you do got to outscore them. But, you tell me Tom Brady throws 500 yards and they punt once and we win that game. You know what I mean? No one's putting money on that.
Stars were aligned.
You know what I mean?
Eagles that season.
So, yeah, if he leaves this year, he's got 13.5. If he comes back, they save 6.5 because then there's 6.5 and 21 of dead money.
So it makes no sense.
It makes no sense for the Patriots to let him go.
So they need to rip it up and do something new.
But I think the way they wrote this last one is they can't rip it up. That's the dead money portion.
So they would have to release him?
No, it's going to follow him unless he plays. Unless he plays and comes back, it stays there. Because if he retires and he goes somewhere else, that money stays.
Okay. So the only way out of it is to have him,
there.
So they're going to have him there, which isn't the worst move. I mean, they need some help as well. With their weapons. I mean, that N'Keal Harry, he looked lost out there.
But he was hurt for the whole
I know,
three-quarters of the year.
but,
I was really excited when they drafted him.
There was a couple times late in the season where Brady looked like he wanted to strike.
Oh, there's no question.
A few more content. Jalen Williams, that's true, but it seems like every year we get our stars to restructure with that base salary is bonus trick every year. Yeah, they do try and do that, and Howie's really good at playing games, but that's also why if you release Alshon Jeffrey, it's $26 million dead money on the cap. That's
the Tom Brady situation.
Right.
Sooner or later, it's going to come back to get you.
Sooner or later, it comes back.
Yep.
Now, I don't think Howie anticipated Alshon
being terrible.
And I've read reports where he might not even be ready till week 8, week 10 next season, which is problematic.
That doesn't hurt us a lot because then it allows you to go on the PUP or the IR and takes your money off the cap until you come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to factor it in, but at least early season until you see how some injuries happen or whatever, it allows you to kind of maneuver. So
we agree that he's going to be here?
I would think so. With that money, where is he going to go? And especially if that's true that he's not going to be back right away. And I'm not saying you're not saying it's not, but who's going to take him if he's not back to week 8 at that clip?
No one. It's just you don't want him here, and you cut him, and you eat the money.
It's a lot of money to eat.
I understand, but the regression is inevitable. Mm-hmm. Father Time is undefeated.
Yep.
My problem with Alshon Jeffrey is the Josina Anderson just doesn't really seem like the best locker room guy. He doesn't strike me as a Carson guy.
Which is funny because he originally came out and initially said he was a Carson guy, which is completely ironic.
What's he going to
say? And I'm not
say?
saying it's not,
Is
that Dawn Staley over at Mississippi State? Is she lead Temple?
She coaches South Carolina.
Oh, she was South Carolina?
Yeah.
I don't know why we're watching a women's game.
No, I thought it was men's, and the men's game is West Virginia and Texas, and it was
Okay.
40-15 West Virginia. Virginia's got a good team.
This is actually just a track meet. Just two teams just flying up and down the floor. For a girls' game to put up 80 points, going
And
to
then
be
they
90 points.
do the quarters in the girls.
Yeah.
And Baylor's the number one team in the country in men's. They take over 70-1, baby. It's a live ticket.
Is that what you got them?
Yeah,
70-1?
70-1. I got Florida, Michigan, Ohio State, and them.
I'm looking into figuring out if like Rivers has any specials for March Madness, or I know Atlantic City will have specials to go down and watch the games one of the days. I'll be off both days, that Thursday, Friday.
No, I guarantee it. I don't work those days.
No, I never
my
do.
schedule right now is I'm at UPS. I'm done at like 9 in the morning.
Nice.
I mean, sucks for the late cap.
Yeah.
But, we'll just coffee up.
Right. So I'm just waiting for them to release the specials. They're gonna have specials. It's just a matter of what are.
What do you mean by like drink?
Well,
food
no, like
specials,
if they're gonna allow you to reserve seats, like Bowie's when I went down for the football, you could reserve a seat for $50, and then you get that back as your bar food tab. Like that's your start. Like you got a $50 coupon to start your day.
It's not bad at all.
No, and you have your own cushioned seat for the day.
I love the tournament, and I'm working on my new article for Brinkman Bracketology. I'm trying to do they're about to release the early seeds that they've been doing the last couple of years. So I'm trying to do mine, and I have all these notes on it, but I just have to sit down and do it.
Yeah, my brother sent me a text the other day.
It's like it's hard this year.
They got Liberty's a 9 seed right now.
Liberty's good.
Yeah, they are good.
That's your squad.
That's my squad. Hey, Liberty as a 9 seed playing Penn State as the 8 seed.
The Big Ten's it's gonna be. This is the year where there's gonna be a lot of teams. Like the seeds aren't gonna mean much.
Right. Yep.
Because you have the
you're
Big
starting
Ten.
to get that in college basketball now.
Because you got the Big Ten. I mean, Joe Lunardi, he updated the 17th. That usually comes out on Friday. He has 12 of the 14 Big Ten teams in the tournament. And nobody can.
Is that a record?
Has to be.
Is that a record?
Has to be. I guess the only ones that aren't are Northwestern. That stinks.
Yeah.
And I can't even think of what the other one is because.
Is it Nebraska?
Yeah.
I would think
They're
Nebraska's
horrible.
terrible.
They're horrible.
Yeah.
But they have Hoiberg now. So
okay.
he built up Iowa State, and I thought he had a raw deal with the Bulls. I mean, he had nothing but injuries.
Yeah.
And what was he supposed to do? And they fired him.
Yeah.
But he's really good at offense. But yeah, only the two and even those teams win at home.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of Big Ten teams that are going to be severely misseeded because no one can win a road game in that conference.
Oh, it's unreal.
And then I'm not a Gonzaga guy this year. I don't think they're going to win 30 games, but it's two.
It's going to be Gonzaga what they are every year. They'll get to the second round, third round, and then they'll flare out when they actually face somebody good.
Same with San Diego State. Like, cool, you're going to go 30-0.
Yeah.
It's like the Eagles winning the 4 straight to get in. Like, what does that tell me?
Who'd you play?
What are you going to do when you're getting hit in the mouth by Penn State, a good Big Ten team, after you in that 8-9 second round
absolutely.
game?
But that was crazy. That was crazy the other day. Like when Auburn lost,
they stink. Auburn stinks.
No, I'm not saying they're not.
Know,
but the fact that they were one of the 2 left undefeated teams in the country, I'm like, Auburn, really?
Yeah. I mean, they're just they didn't play anybody, and they lost.
Pearl.
They lost 2 straight to Florida, who they're lurking there in the SEC.
Yeah. I think they're young.
Really
Aren't they young?
They're tough. They really had a tough time offensively in the non-conference. But they're huge. They got Kerry Blackshear from Virginia Tech as a grad transfer.
Okay.
Who's just a monster.
Yeah.
A lot of beef inside. They're good at rebounding, and a freshman named Scotty Lewis. We'll see if they can get it together. I mean, the SEC's wide open for them because I'm not the biggest Kentucky guy this year either.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be great. Yeah, it's Dawn City. She's South Carolina. I think she's been there for a while now.
Yeah, she might have. When's the last time I watched a
And then
women's college basketball game?
Then you look at locally, Temple is like creeping their way onto the bubble. They beat Wichita State, but, I mean, they got creamed by Houston.
Yeah, I was at that game.
That's right, you were.
I was at that game, and it wasn't really as close as the score turned out to be.
Well,
because, they didn't play in the first half. They played, terrible. It was a terrible game in the first half for Temple.
I can't stand Houston either.
And then, Kelvin Sampson, and he loses the tie like at 5 minutes in.
Total crump. Remember when he was at Oklahoma?
Yeah.
His graduation rate was 0?
Yep.
And somehow got the Indiana job?
Yeah.
Like, your graduation rate, that means your water boy didn't graduate
No
college.
one graduated. No one. Not your walk-ons, not your, the guys that fill at the end of your bench. No one.
And I get it. He gets results because he's like an offensive guy and he wants to run and gun and he gets athletes. But, like, at what point is that?
Right.
Where's the line?
Yep.
I
completely agree.
Because, like, Bobby Knight, probably the greatest college coach, one of them of all time, everybody graduated.
Yep.
You didn't go.
That was also a different era, too. Back then, like, there wasn't so many other ways to make a buck.
They need to get back to. They need to pay these guys for their name, and they need to let the guys like Wiseman go into the draft.
Yeah,
and that would make the game a lot better. Then Nova's good. They're gonna play. They're gonna play Butler tomorrow at 9:00. It's gonna be a good one.
Game.
That's
gonna
be a good one.
Is that home here? Is that in Philly?
That's a good question. They've been on the road a lot lately, so I would imagine they got to have some home games coming.
And that's probably if it is.
Because they squeaked past UConn on Saturday.
And if it is at home, is that at the Wells? Is that the Farg? Is that at the Wells Fargo Center? I wouldn't think that game would be on campus.
I would imagine it would be on campus because it's capped. Like, you can't play. Like, there's a certain limit to how many games they can do at the Wells.
What do you call it? Is it the Wells? Is it the Farg? Do you have to say
Center.
Wells Fargo Center?
What's tomorrow? The 21st? That game is at home. They're not even getting it on the CBS Sports Network.
Wow.
No, I don't want to buy tickets. No, that's on campus at Nova.
Okay.
The Fitterin Pavilion Center. So, I mean,
big game.
Butler just lost, too. They're a good team.
Aren't they ranked in the top 5? Or they
were.
were?
I didn't even look at the poll today yet. I know Baylor jumped up. But they lost to someone they shouldn't. I mean, they're a good team, but like, I wasn't buying the one line.
Yeah.
At all.
Like, I agree. Like, when you look at those mid-majors, I have no problems, especially in basketball.
The Big East a mid-major?
Are they officially in the Big East?
Yeah, they're in the Big East.
Okay. I still thought they were on the horizon or whatever, and they were just beasting teams like normal. But, I mean, regardless, Butler, you're not you're not recruiting your traditional Big East kids. You know what I mean? You're still taking all your Midwest guys.
Yeah, so they're down 8 spots to 13.
So, yeah, I mean, for me to put somebody on that one line from –
it's going to work itself out.
Outside of, like, a major conference to me is –
But, like, look at they lost to DePaul.
Okay.
So, DePaul is, I mean, they're far from a doormat like they used to be. They've had a couple good recruiting classes, but, you know, I'd be surprised if they made the tournament.
Yeah.
Even though they've been. And Nova, I mean, every time I think that this team is just overmatched, Jay Wright just waves a magic wand and coaches and they beat a team like Kansas, who's just way bigger, way stronger, more. Hit with what? You can come on and talk. You're loud.
I know, but you know, I try to leave the technical issues out of the way just to make sure that everything is running smoothly. We are running on some technical difficulties on Facebook right now.
That's all right. We're about to take a break.
All right. So you guys want to go right to the break?
Yeah,
I can end the Facebook,
we'll
and then we can
figure it out.
All right.
Cool.
I have every faith, Frank, that you will right the ship.
All right.
All right. So with that, We're going to take our break. We're going to talk about the Astros. We're going to talk about Major League Baseball. And we're going to talk about what else? And the Sixers. I need someone to explain to me what this fan base sees in this team. Because they're overvalued in my opinion, and I don't get it. So I'm going to get my notepad and pen out. I'm going to take notes, and the fans are going to educate me on what I'm missing with this basketball team. Sports Hounds, A2D Radio. We'll be back right after this. to the Real Talk Studios. With you till 10 o'clock. Tom Arnone lurking. Greg sitting in for Brad. I'm Rob. Frank's producing. I want to talk about the Sixers. It's Martin Luther King Day. It's Martin Luther King Day.
He wants you to wait for him.
You just got done telling me, don't wait for me. I'll just jump in. I'll just jump in, Rob, because you don't know. You don't know, Rob. You had nothing to do. You nothing don't know anything about basketball. Here we go. Oh, come on, finish the.
Never said you don't know nothing.
Okay, but I need. So I'm gonna sit back.
Go on your rant, and I'll listen.
I'm not. I don't want to go on a rant. I don't look for reasons to bury this team, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the coach. But I see a team today on the road. They're 7 and whatever on the road. They're the 6th seed in the East. 9 and 14 on the road. You score 90 points Saturday night against the Knicks. You struggle with the Nets again today with no Kyrie. Yeah, you win the games, but it's like the Eagles making a run to win the division 4 straight. I don't understand why this fan base, with this team as constructed, think that this team's just going to be able to flip a switch and go right to the finals. I don't get it. They don't have enough shooters. There's a disconnect between Elton Brand as a general manager and the way Brett Brown wants to run this team. Brett Brown's solution to everything, we got to shoot more threes. Got to shoot more threes. Al Horford's got to shoot more threes.
But that's the NBA.
But we're not constructed like that.
Well, that's what you brought in. You brought in.
I understand, but Elton Brand wants to build a grinded-out defensive half-court playoff team, which is great. But then you have a coach that's coaching them to just space and pace, shoot a bunch of threes.
Other than Ben, who on our roster can't shoot threes?
I mean, consistency is what they need. The only guy I would trust shooting a jump shot is Korkmaz, who we just talked about during the break.
Right, but Toby in his career has been a high percentage shooter and a mid-level. The only reason they looked bad against, Indiana the other night is because they shot terribly from 3. They were so below average from 3.
They're more likely to shoot. Not like Christmas was an admiration for this team. Like that. That's not the type of team they have.
I don't think it was.
To shoot the lights out and blow out the Bucks.
I think that's the way the Bucks are constructed at the same time. I don't think the Bucks are very well built for the playoffs. I think in a 7-game series, our length and our athleticism gives the Bucks fits. They don't want to see us in the playoffs. We have 5 guys that you could throw at Giannis that are taller and bigger than he is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
Shut him down.
I understand Rob's concern to a point.
No, I'm not saying your concern isn't valid.
But you're talking about a team that's 13 games over 500 now. You're talking about a team that's starting to at least play a little bit better on the road. Now, granted, you can talk about the teams they played aren't good recently, but early on in the year, that was our Achilles heel, is we weren't beating the teams we were supposed to beat. And that was a big problem on why we're all tied up and jumbled up down in the 6 seed or 3 seed, because it's that close. You know, even the 2 seed's only 2 games out.
Right.
So you start playing a little bit more consistent on the road, right? You get contributions from different guys, but I don't think it's a turn on the switch thing like you're trying to say. I understand the point, but to me, the turn on the switch is because your best player, 1A, 1B, however you want to slice it between him and Ben, has, I don't want to say looked ahead, but has been looking ahead a little bit. Because what happened last year haunted that guy. You know what I'm saying? Fairly. And it's fine. And I want that to haunt my best players.
Haunted what? Joe?
Yes.
Because he was crying like a little bitch?
No, because he's talked about that the only thing that matters to him is winning a championship. He's talked about how important this postseason is to be ready to go. So he's preached that mantra from the beginning of the year. It's been something that I can use the word haunt him, because I saw a guy that lost 25 pounds, that came in better shape, and the injury's a freak injury, and he'll be fine with at least 20 games left. You know what I mean? To come back, get himself in game shape. Like Greg said, this team is built for the postseason. They're long, they're athletic, they're built to slow you down and grind it out with you. That's what they're built to do. We can talk about all the threes shot in the regular season, but we all know what happens during the postseason. We all know how that slows down a little bit. Why the Rockets are always eliminated. You know what I mean? Why certain teams never advance outside of the one team. That's why everybody's shooting threes, the Golden State Warriors, but nobody's ever going to be able to do it like that.
No.
When they were in their heyday of jacking and hitting. Everybody trying to copycat.
Yeah, you got three or four of the all-time greatest shooters in the history of the game playing at the same time.
Yeah, it's not fair. Like, I agree. Do we have enough? We don't have a ton of spacing. You know, Mike Scott played a little bit better today.
He's been
atrocious.
A ghost.
Horford, hasn't been good enough.
I didn't like that signing from jump.
But a good one today.
Yeah, played really well today.
Played well today.
He hit the
Ben
shot.
was
He hit the
great.
shot with 2.5 to go. I'm not a stats guy. Let me bring up the box score.
But I think he shot well. I know Ben had 34, had a monster game, but
Ben had 34, 12, and 12.
12 triple-double.
He was 12 of 14 from the
Ben
field.
Is he off the trade block yet, or
He's been on the trade block for me.
Yeah.
He's never been on it.
10 of
It's
10 of
ridiculous.
14 from the
He's
foul line.
He was 10 for 14 from
10
the
for
line.
14
Yeah,
from the foul line.
he played great.
5 steals.
He played great.
5
he played
steals,
so good.
3 blocks, and only 3 turnovers in 42 minutes.
Watching one of my kids
That's
grow up.
an MVP-esque line.
Well, listen.
Now, if we can get somewhat of that every night.
It's another live.
You want to use the
another
word?
live ticket I got. Right when
MVP?
he hit that 3 in the preseason, I drove my ass right over to Parks and bet on him to win MVP. 41-1.
Listen,
Didn't work. Not going to work out, but I mean,
all I'm saying is he's showing more aggressiveness, which is what we begged for. But another haunt. You want to use the word haunt again?
Right.
You know, the Nets have haunted us in Brooklyn for a minute now.
Why I bet him today.
That's fine. That's fine. But when you
Even
have
without Kyrie.
you have Embiid, you have Horford, and you have Simmons. Do you think that this basketball team can space the floor good enough in the postseason to be successful?
Yes, because the one name you said can stretch it better than the other two, and people like get upset about it. But like Joe can shoot a 3.
He can. Yes.
I'm not mad about him jacking 6 threes in a game. Like if he hits 2 or 3 of them, that's a win. If you want to leave him open and allow him, he hit a step back 3 like the best guards in this league do on Jimmy Butler in Miami. Like the dude's a freak. Like, do I want him in the post? Yes, but we read it off a stat before the Indiana game.
Yep.
They were like, what were they, like top 5 in the league, if not number 1, in like post ups?
I'll find it.
So they post up a ton more than like the naked eye tells you sometimes when you're watching. The Sixers. They before the Indiana game, they led the league in post ups, I believe.
Sixers are first in post ups, 25th in 3-point attempts,
But we shoot too many.
15th in 3-point percentage.
But we can't shoot them. Yep.
And 13th in turnovers.
Which we turn the ball over too much. Yeah. So this is the difference maker, right? You can start and end this
That's why I don't like stats.
Listen, the stat that only matters, Rob, is palms up basketball in the postseason. Ben is an elite defender.
What about that? It's lying.
None of it. He just doesn't like stats. Ben's elite defender. Agree or disagree?
He's gonna be first team All NBA defense.
Okay,
for the rest of his career.
Joel, elite defender.
But when he's on the court, yeah,
Yes or no? Agree or disagree?
yeah,
Agree.
good defender. Yeah.
Okay. Thibault, damn good
He's
defender.
good. Yeah.
Damn good defender, right? Why you drafted him over Carson Edwards? Exact reason. Okay, Josh Richardson, dog. Agree or disagree? Flat out dog out there. Palms you up, makes everything an issue for you. Agree or disagree?
He's a good player.
Yeah, defensively. We're just talking strictly defense right now.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Al Horford, known to be a physical, good defender, right? So now you're talking about 6 guys that are built upon being good defenders. I'm telling you this. I swear to you guys, if this team is 3 or up, they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and Milwaukee better watch their ass. That's all I'm saying. We could talk about the lack of shooting. Furkan, when he's playing well or getting the minutes, is the difference maker for this bench. He's a double-digit scorer. He's a sniper off the pine like you were talking about. He's important to the regular season and some postseason stuff. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, if I can get up in you and make you uncomfortable, and I've shown I can be dominant at home, I'm dominant at home because Brett Brown's harped it. Our fourth quarter defense is better at home than it is on the road. We got to fix that. And that's been Al Horford talked about it before today's game, how important it is to win these road games. And have a sense of urgency for it, so you're getting that leadership from your veteran. So, to me, the things are falling in place for this team. Winners of 4 straight. I don't give a shit who they play. I don't care. You're not going to tell me on how they only played whoever. I don't care.
Well, in the NBA, it's different because NBA, any night you can.
Yeah.
So you got to get back to at least 500 on the road. So in order to do that, you got to beat the Knicks, even if it's narrow. You got to beat the Nets.
What did I call today to you? A must-winner.
It's a must-win.
And I'm saying that right.
See, to me, this is. I assume the win today.
You can't assume in this league.
Not against the Nets.
When I'm without Kyrie, I can't
without
assume
Joel,
the win.
Beat us without Kyrie early in the year.
And we didn't have Joel earlier in the year, and they beat us.
That's the crux of my. That shouldn't happen.
Well,
Period.
NBA,
End of story.
Though. It happens.
It's not the NFL. It's not the NFL.
I know it's not the NFL, but to me, the must-win game is Wednesday in Toronto.
It's a must-win game in a way.
Show me something to shut me up and go in there. Now you're going to say it's fine because Joel's not in there.
It's factual. You're gonna base it. You're gonna base it off the best player not being on the damn court.
It's always something.
It's not always.
He's not the best player. Ben's better.
Stop it. Stop it.
This offense and this basketball team should be designed around Ben's strengths and not Joel's strengths.
Ben's strength. This team's built around two guys. It's built around your gender. Why is it always got to be one with everybody? Why is it always got to be one or the fucking other? You're starting to make the argument for one or the other, and I don't like it. I can smell it coming. And the whole.
What are you talking about?
You're building around a guy who doesn't shoot. It's the same build around that you're going to build around for your center. Fair criticism.
It's not unfair at all. It's not unfair at all.
Rob, if they were 26 and 28, I understand now the sense of urgency even more. I understand it more. But we're talking about they're not even in their primes yet, and we're saying it's now or never.
I didn't say it was
and
now
we're drawing
or
a line in
never.
the fucking sand.
I say I don't think this team's as good as you and the fan base makes it out to be. Part of that is because they're young. Part of that is because I don't like the roster construction. I don't think they space the floor good enough. Yeah, Horford's great at defense, but I don't like the way they look offensively when you have 3 7-footers on the floor at the same time. That's going to be magically fixed in the playoffs because
yes, because it becomes more of a half-court game.
I don't agree.
Listen, this team dominates you on the glass, which is so important to what they want to do because they want to run. At times, and you got to understand, just because they start with them guys, that lineup shifts all over the place with different guys in at different times. You know what I mean? So I understand, and I don't disagree with you. That's the point. I don't disagree with you for the little concern about spacing with all three. But whose fault's that?
Elton Brand's.
No. Listen, if things don't go the way I want them to go over, hold on. Whose fault is it? Can somebody riddle me whose fault it is that we need more spacing? Whose fault is that? Tell me.
You got me.
It's your point guard that can't shoot.
It's your point guard who can't shoot, who I love.
But you got to get past that.
Oh, no.
He's never going to shoot.
This is what the bet. Hold on.
You're worried about spacing. That's the crux of this spacing.
Listen, I'm a Ben realist. Love him. Generational talent. Don't want him to go anywhere.
He's not a generational talent until he shoots the ball.
Well, there you go. So you're making the same case. So when I construct this roster in the offseason, and just hear me out, I'm watching videos about Elton Brand. I'm watching him practice, and I'm watching a guy shooting on pro guys in the summer, fadeaways like Kobe. Hold on. 3-pointers in transition. All right, I'm watching all this stuff. So to me I just got my spacing. Because all you got to do is shoot it a little bit, and now people respect it. And when the day comes where they respect it, he becomes the best player in this league. Because you can't stop him getting to the cup. But it's a little easier. It's a little easier
when
I don't have to respect that.
But what is it, mental?
I think
you think he can be the best in the league without shooting the ball?
I think
I was at the game Wednesday against the Nets. I watched him. All I did was watch him one. He made 12 jump shots right inside the 3-point line in a row.
No, I know he can shoot it.
Yeah, he can.
And the problem is, it is a little mental, but I think it's like he feels like he's going to hurt the team because he can help them more. And the best, one of the best roles he had was when Joel wasn't in. Was when he had the Bellinelli and the Ilyasova. Guys who go flat out just with, they'll jack everything. But that's the thing. Like, he needs the spacing, to your point, to help his game. Now, if he can create a little bit of spacing, that makes this whole thing different. Because now I don't need him and Joe clogging a lane up.
Yep.
Everybody wonders why Joe on the perimeter so much. Well, because my guard wants to get to the cup. If I have my big man down there, now I'm screwed to get him to the cup.
That's why he's the Eastern Conference Player of the Week or whatever the heck he just was, because Joe's not in there clogging up the lane. He can play more his game.
But the problem is his game needs to evolve, and it will. This is what I'm talking about, 23 and 25-year-olds.
I'm with you on Ben.
We're ending and drawing a line that if it's not this year, we might never win one.
Not with Ben, not with me.
I think as long as you have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, the ceiling is extremely high here in Philadelphia.
Totally agree.
And until somebody shows me differently, I believe they can play together. They've shown they can play together, so I can't buy into that argument that's out there. Like, they can't play together. They're not going to play together. Like, no, that's not the case.
Not true at all.
It's not the case. They both need to evolve, right? I mean, No,
Joe needs to mature because Joe wants to be the best.
But he has.
A little bit.
He has.
Joel Embiid wants to be the best center in the league and show up 15 minutes before the game with 2 bags of Chick-fil-A in his hand.
When was that? When did that happen?
That strikes me as his mindset. And when someone like Shaq or Barkley lights a fire under his ass that's actually played this game and are Hall of Famers, then he kicks it in the gear and he plays good for a week, but then he resorts back to his immaturity.
I think a little bit. I think a little bit of that's on the Sixers.
That's on the coach.
No, because I
don't think Brett Brown can relate to these. I don't think Brett Brown can force. I don't think he can get it out of Ben Simmons to get past whatever mental block is, whatever arrogance he has.
Then who does?
I don't know.
Like, listen,
I don't have those answers.
There's a certain guy in the family who was a pretty good basketball player in his own damn fucking family. So, right, Greg? I mean, his dad was a big-time player in Australia. Like, this isn't...
Okay.
But my point is, the dad, he ain't shoot. I'm sure dad's telling him to shoot. His damn brother's his shooting coach. His brother ain't telling him to shoot a little bit, right? So, who the hell else do you think's going to tell him to shoot? Elton Brand's got some pretty big stature in this league. Okay, Elton Brand. You think Elton Brand?
I don't know what's good.
Voice isn't around.
I don't know what his deal is.
No,
with shooting the basketball.
I just don't know.
I don't know what his deal is.
You've agreed with everything.
I get it.
I'm talking about. So I don't understand where the frig you're sitting right now. I don't understand your problem.
I think he's a great player, but
no. Just in general with this team, I don't understand what your issue is when we just pretty much agreed on so much stuff.
Something's
throughout
missing.
all the bullshit.
Something's missing. I don't see this team as an Eastern Conference Finals participant right now. I don't.
I think the only thing missing is an engaged Joel Embiid. I'll stand by this. This dude picked up basketball 17 and became great at it. So, to me, I can turn that on anytime I want. That's a turn on anytime I want. But
that's the problem. That's not how sports work. You can't just flip a switch and be good and be great. Just when
he does it. He does it.
It doesn't work against top-tier teams. That's why they're out in the second round last year.
How would you stop it? 17 freaking bounces.
Did they not lay an egg in what was it, Game 5 or Game 6 last year in Toronto?
It was
Game 5. It was Game 5 in Toronto. They played a complete egg. You show up there, you might win that game. You don't even have a chance for Kawhi Leonard to hit that goofy-ass shot on you.
Listen, it happened again. At that time, a 23 and 24-year-old, 22 and 24-year-old.
I get it. They're
my
young.
Best players. I need the smack in the face to get better. If I want to be great, I need.
Okay, but you got the smack in the face last year.
And the guy's talked about wanting to win championships. He hasn't talked about anything social media-wise, any other bullshit. He's pretty much not even on. Okay. Which I hate. But at the end of the day, what's all he's talked about, Greg?
Just wanted to win.
Just wanted to win.
So you can't win it, right? You got to get to the postseason before you can win there.
I don't see an Eastern Conference.
If you picked up something,
you're putting too much stock into this regular season.
Yes.
And you're putting too much stock.
I can only evaluate what's happened and what I see thus far. If they want to go out and smack the Toronto Raptors on Wednesday night, make me look like an idiot, I'm all for it.
But the NBA is an ebb and flow league, just like a game. There's going to be a run in every game and every season. Yep. So you're going to go through ebbs and flows. So if you sit there like every one of the Sixers fans and after a loss, the Sixers team sucks. We're never winning a game. Thank you for the victory today, by the way, because after your post, they just went on an absolute run.
They didn't go on an absolute.
They went 13-0.
Al Horford hit one shot with 2.5 minutes.
They went 13-0. So thank you,
ladies and gentlemen. We got them.
But, everyone reacts to every single game of an 82-game season. There's 82 games. It's like the MLB when you go through your summer slump. It's okay. It's going to happen. It's how do you finish? How do you finish? And we want to be finishing
then
at the
finish.
Right point. Right. You got to get through these dog days we got to finish strong.
We won 4 straight without our best player.
Our best player's hurt now for 2-3 weeks.
And we won 4 in a row now. So,
I
mean,
know what to tell
and 2
you
of which on the road.
I don't see... And I get Joel Embiid's hurt. I don't see an Eastern Conference Finals participant now.
You don't think that he's not a guy capable of turning a switch on and just
see
being
it happen
fired
every
up
night
and just being fired up the whole postseason.
He dominates Milwaukee and then he blows an egg against the Jazz or the Nuggets.
I'm just saying to you,
or the Raptors, whatever.
He's good enough to, yes.
Okay, that's all that matters. And but I believe we're gonna see an engaged dude and an aggressive dude all postseason. I just do.
There's days off. There's rest days encapsulated in the play.
Pray to God you don't get sick again. Somebody trying to don't poison his food.
You also got to look. Today's athlete and today's.
Where to go to poison the food. You just go right to the Chick-fil-A.
That's all. They know where to get them.
There's no poison in that, or maybe there is. That's why it's so delicious. But today's professional athlete is different than what we've grown up on. You know what I mean? How you can't anymore go in and say, oh, you can't beat a team that you play early in the year because it's so hard to beat a team twice, right? Like that mantra is almost gone now because of the way sports are, and the teams change so often.
Niners,
the
right?
Packers-Niners, Seattle Eagles this year. Like
both games, I thought the other team was going to win because they already lost one against them.
The philosophy of sports is changing to these, obviously they're ridiculously athletic at all sports. Like, even the offensive linemen are just super athletes anymore. And it's like, with free agency and as much teams change over, there's not that hatred and there's not that, old school mentality anymore because so much is different every year.
Well, which he brought and then got muted. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, the Towns thing is the kind of stuff I want from Joel Embiid. I want you to talk trash. I want you to throw a haymaker if you need to. You know what I mean? I don't need the organization telling him to pump his brakes because that's what happened here.
No, well, Towns is in a fight every night.
But you understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
The organization was like, because you can tell, the organization was like, hey, slow down social media. Pump your brakes. But when you're talking about greatness, what I think a guy who can be great, I always say when I talk about that kind of talent, I got to let them be who they are because that's what makes them great. So if I'm a cocky son of a bitch, I got to let a guy be a cocky son of a bitch.
What makes Mayweather great? What makes McGregor great? That they're guys that they know that they're going to back up whatever they're talking, and they're the cockiest MFers out there.
Michael Jordan.
That's what makes them so great is because
Kobe.
It builds them up.
Shaq. These guys were cocky bastards. And they play with guys who play with swagger. You know what I mean? And Joel plays his best basketball when he plays with swagger to him. And it's as simple as that. And when he's got guys who want to talk to him throughout the game and get him fired up, you see the greatness come out. Now it's like, okay, am I able to turn that on in the last 20 games of the season and into the postseason and get my team to an Eastern Conference final?
I'm all for it. They can prove me wrong anytime they want. But they haven't yet. And I gave this team a lot of slack.
What are you crying over? Is it a comment?
Obviously, you're crying.
Crying. I mean, I couldn't let that go. But no, I mean, they're just built. To me, they're built for the postseason. I can't run from that.
Okay.
And Wednesday.
What do you? Wednesday will be.
Just a day.
It's just a day.
It's just a game. If you can go win it without Joe, that's great. But I mean, they put the whole season on this Raptors game.
Not putting the whole season on the Raptors game.
Put the whole season.
No, I did not.
Greg, did he whole season
Where do you get that?
You did say it was the biggest game of the year.
No, I didn't. I
don't know. We got to check.
No, I didn't.
Well, he called today's game must win. Then you said that was Wednesday is must win.
Yeah. We're both
must win. But
we were ahead of schedule.
Go do something.
What happened?
No, I'm talking with Ralph and Ryan on the other side. We're just like prepping stuff and
crying because you're talking to them. I get it.
No, we were
puts me in tears.
No, I made a comment and Ryan was reacting something hilarious.
Ralph crying because his Lakers are getting smacked.
Well,
109-82 Boston.
Yeah, I don't want to crowd that. I would rather have the Lakers roll fucking Boston.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's better for the Sixers.
Well, Kemba was like 0-28 versus LeBron or something.
He's in Charlotte.
No, I'm just saying that's crazy. Like 0-28.
Is that what that David versus Goliath thing was today I saw on?
It may have been.
But, Boston's going to get it big.
Maybe.
Ainge is going to get someone.
But they're also giving up somebody.
Yeah, but they have perimeter guys to spare, and how many draft picks do they still have left?
I don't know.
You don't think
I ain't worried about Boston.
Cantor?
Boston doesn't faze me one bit.
I'm worried if they get Drummond.
I'm not.
Drummond doesn't give me anything offensive other than rebounds.
Joe eats Andre Drummond for lunch.
He does, but
so
adding him to the package.
There's only one big man that scares me when he plays against Joel Embiid, and that's Marcus Gasol, and nobody else. Nobody else. I fear that he's going to lay a goose Okay, there's only one guy that I feel like can goose him up, and one's on his team. Right? One's on his team.
Now.
And one plays for the Toronto Raptors. That's the only guy that really, handles him well, which is funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of all the bigs that are, athletic and, Towns athletic, his –
because he doesn't do anything to get on, he doesn't do anything to get him going. He just goes out there and plays.
well, he just bodies
He's
him
a
up in the
pest.
post well. You know what I mean? And that's the difference maker.
Probably doesn't even speak English to talk trash. But yeah, I mean, this would have been nice if the Lakes showed up tonight and beat Boston. Because to me, this team's got to be. They have to be the 2 seed because you're not catching Milwaukee. So I need for me to feel confident about this team, unless Elton pulls some trade out and gets me a sniper that fits with Ben. I need home court against everyone but Milwaukee.
But
which
sniper are you getting for Mike Scott?
I don't know. No, it's going to be tough.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be tough.
Well, you are benefited from Furkan playing a little well.
No,
over
that's
a
what
stretch.
you need. You're going to need the in-house guys and maybe
maybe
add a Rose.
You might have to move.
I thought you missed.
You might have to move like a Furkan and
that would be a grave error.
I'm just saying.
I know, but you already did that once with Shamet.
I understand.
And I understand the Shamet move, but you can't do it. You found the replacement for Shamet. You can't go trading him too.
No, I agree.
Because you need.
Then
I'm even more concerned about the spacing.
I said he was my most important person off the bench.
Yeah.
You can't trade Corky.
No,
Yeah.
but I said that if you want guys like Derrick Rose, you might have to you got to give up.
It's a hard pass.
Yeah, I understand. It's tough. It's tough because what fits better?
No, because I'm banking on the Pistons just dumping, and we get like a Kennard or a Rose for nothing.
Kennard is good. That's the thing. I think they're going to cost more. I don't think you're going to get him for nothing. You know what I mean? It's not like they're going to buy him out.
Well, I would give whatever draft picks they wanted.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But then we
that's the direction they're going because they made a terrible trade for Blake Griffin, and you're never going to win a championship with Andre Drummond as your best guy.
Agreed.
Or Blake Griffin.
And I thought they missed on who did Jordan Clarkson just get traded to?
The Nuggets.
Was it
Just
the
Jazz?
Nuggets?
Just
The
a
Jazz.
volume guy, dude. Though I like Clarkson a little bit, but just a
Yeah, but
volume
you don't think he's better than Trey Burke and Neto?
I'm not saying he's not, but I just feel like he's such a volume guy. He needs shots. Sometimes that can hurt you.
Are you worried? So are they going to make a move? What do you see them doing?
I don't think they necessarily need to. If you can get the production from Furkan.
Maybe you don't to get to an Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe you're right, and I'll be proven wrong, and the spacing will all come together, and Joe will turn it on, and they'll get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I don't think you're beating Milwaukee without making at least
I understand, but Derrick Rose doesn't create more space for me.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
I'll take him.
He's a guy that can come off the bench and score.
I'll take
You
him.
can run the second unit, or you can put him and Ben. You can have Ben do a little point forward and have Rose push base instead.
But to that point,
I'm just saying,
your biggest move could just getting Ben's game to evolve over the next 3-4 weeks. That could be your biggest and best move, and it doesn't cost you a damn thing.
Yeah.
But
getting him to add an elbow jumper, top of the key jumper.
Maybe he pulls it out, bro, the last 5. I could see it.
He can do it whenever he
wants. I feel like
wants.
we're playing this coy here. We're playing coy. Game 7.
It's time to
Game 7, Eastern Conference Finals, we're down 2, and he jacks at 3. Yeah, when he jacks at 3 and we go to the finals. That's how coy it would be to me. That's how this whole process would go.
What a fatal mistake they made giving Ingram in that trade instead of Kuzma.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you let LeBron run your team.
Yeah.
You give up Brandon Ingram, which, going back to the draft, I forget where we were.
Pelicans are going to be able to play. Pelicans are going to be a team that's going to be on the rise in the next couple. They'll be better.
If Zion can stay, he's playing Wednesday.
Yeah, Zion, Ingram, Lonzo. You got some young players at least.
I forget where me and Brad were when it was the Simmons-Ingram draft.
Jaylen Brown.
I was totally in favor of picking Ben just because of what he is. But I didn't think the gap was
no.
I said that the other day.
Big at all.
You're right.
There was a period of time where I was all in on Ingram. Despite because when you throw out the KD comps, you know what I mean? When you get the KD comps thrown out there, you're like, oh.
And that's what happens with these guys,
Yeah.
that the second and third teams reap all the benefits because they're 19 years old and they still got to figure it out.
Yeah,
King Felix signs with the Braves.
I know.
All right, you're two baseball guys that aren't Yankee crumbs.
Before we get to that, though, Jeff Passett just wrote on Twitter, so Nolan Arenado comes out and says he feels disrespected by the Rockies.
I would feel the same way.
He says this has a chance to get very ugly. It's becoming increasingly clear Arenado wants out of Colorado, which could take the leverage the Rockies might have had in trade talks before Arenado went public. This is beginning to resemble the Giancarlo Stanton mess in Miami.
Well, let's get
So if we can get Arenado for a Giancarlo Stanton deal.
Oh, my God. We have nothing to give up anyway. So
let's
Give it all up, though.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We'll go up in mass. Just give everything up because it's trash anyway.
He's a top 3 position player in the whole league.
I completely agree.
He's the best offensive and defensive third baseman in the league. I mean, are we going to be able to get our cigar nerd to pay the luxury tax to bring him in?
I think for that guy, you do.
Cigar nerd.
But I mean, how can
I've never heard anybody say that.
That's what he is.
That's great. No, he is. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal comment out of you.
You had one off season where you kind of went for it, but you didn't really go for it. You kind of tricked everyone that your pitching was good enough, and you got Harper.
Just one toe in. You know, you had just the one toe in the water. You're just saying, hey, we're just feeling it. So now, this offseason, I haven't seen anything that tells me both feet are in.
No.
Because they're, right there at the luxury tax, but, they're, not.
Yeah, Felix was going to put you over the luxury tax. I can't imagine that contract was anything big.
Oh, this is twice, if you want to talk about vets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's embarrassing. That's an embarrassment to baseball, the way they're handling Arenado from the Rockies standpoint.
Yeah.
You're going to pay the guy and just trade him
You
right
knew it was
after.
going to happen when they paid him. That's why these teams can never
Why
pay
pay
these
him?
guys because they have to. They have to in order to sell tickets. You know what I mean? You have to keep that fan base engaged, or you would have traded them last year. They thought they were going to be good enough to make a run. They didn't even get, the Diamondbacks were even better than they were, and they didn't think that was going to happen.
Better again this year, too.
No, absolutely, and that's why they're sitting there all right, well, we signed Charlie Blackmon to team up with Arenado. We got Trevor Story, who's still on his somewhat rookie year, his rookie deal, so he's not expensive yet. But there's another guy that I think can be had we not gone out and signed Didi. You could have went out and got Trevor Story because they're not going to be able to pay him. Plus, they have Brendan Hamilton.
Yeah, I like the Didi, though.
No, I'm not saying Didi wasn't good. I'm just saying,
I'm not a big Story guy.
No? Dude just mashes.
I mean, I'm fine with Didi.
I'm not saying I don't like Didi. I'm just saying there's other ways because I think
what
Colorado could be
What do
had.
you want for Nolan? Yeah, it's the question of the day. I'll give you my whole farm system.
I'll give everybody up.
Whoever you want.
Or I don't know what the Cubs. I don't know.
It's going to start with Baum because we don't need him at that point.
No,
So Baum's number one.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, and then Reese.
I'll go give Baum. I'll give Reese. Or if
I want to keep Reese.
Or if they want Reese instead of Baum.
Well, Reese is not going to hit leadoff this year.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think
them
them days are over.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you
You might see Harper in the 2 sometimes.
If you want to
cute,
keep,
but that's about it.
If
he might get cute.
Say
Sometimes.
the Rockies because they want to play now want Reese over Baum. Okay, we'll just move Baum over to first. You know what I mean? That actually helps us out.
The problem is you don't have a leadoff hitter, a traditional leadoff hitter.
Even Kutch will be there.
Kutch or
even Kutch wasn't.
As
traditional
constructed right now, with no Arenado, you have Segura, who's led off plenty in his career, McCutcheon, who can lead off, and I think Kingery could lead off. If I think he could grow it.
Given the chance.
Yeah. And worst case, Harper could lead off.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that, but you know what I'm saying? Could lead.
Where do you guys stand on Hazley?
Oh, I like Adam Hazley.
He should be my starting center fielder.
Yeah.
Unless you're going out and upgrading drastically.
Yeah. I'm going to give the kid a roll.
He's my guy.
Yeah, because the 7th pick in the draft.
Yeah, I need him to be my guy.
He's got to be my guy.
He's got to be. And they said he might split time, so they might have a right-handed bat off the bench that platoons him sometimes. I don't know who the hell that's going to be.
Yeah, what's that, Roman Quinn? You know,
yeah, he'll be hurt.
I'm chill done.
Yeah, I'm done on Roman Quinn. Give the bat to Hazley. He showed you last year when he's in the lineup every day.
He can play.
He's gonna hit. He's gonna hit enough to hit 7th.
And you're gonna put Kingery back to second where he belongs.
He should be at second.
And in worst case, you're going in the year with Segura at third, which is fine. which really is fine.
Well, if you're getting Arenado,
No, I'm saying no Arenado.
Right.
I'm just talking
Arenado's
about
not
like
here.
going in right now.
no, because Kingery will be no Arenado. Kingery's your third base.
No,
he
he's got to
should be
go
at
back.
second.
He's got to go to
You
second.
drafted Robbie Alomar Jr. to play second base.
Like, I'm putting Kingery in his natural position and letting him go. And Segura, it's easier to translate over to third than the second for a shortstop.
The
It's just
ball's
easier.
coming the
he's
same-
not.
Different footwork.
The ball's
He's
coming
not-
the same way.
Different footwork in a way. That guy's got that. These guys can't do it. I'm just saying it's a little different. It's easier.
But you're right.
I'm
To your point,
I'm
though,
just
you're
saying,
right.
I saw
They're going to make
a lot of
They're gonna make
both
Kingery
mental
play
and
third.
physical mistakes from Gene Segura at shortstop, where I think he might be better, sort of hidden over there at second base.
Yeah, but third base, it's either at you or it's not.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
think-
guessing at third base
I
at the
think-
major league level.
I don't know. I would, me personally, I'd put him at third.
And
That's just me.
we're coming off of Maikel Franco, who's a sieve over there.
Because it's better than, at the end of the day, I want to put my young guys in their best position to succeed.
Yep.
Unlike our previous manager.
And then what, right? So you move Kingery to third, and you have Segura at second. Then you trade Segura, and now Kingery's got to go back to second. Why not just make one move? You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
Like, because at some point you're bringing up Baum. So what are you going to put Baum in over Kingery? Now Kingery's in his head like, oh great, now I got Baum playing over me at third base.
Yeah.
Put the kid at second base where everyone in the world thinks he's Robbie Alomar Jr. over there, and let's see if he guy can play. I'm not saying he can't, but that's his position. That's what he was just drafted for.
Yeah.
Play second base.
whatever. I mean,
And then you're trading Segura for Baum anyway, and then bring him up.
I guess whatever.
You
I
make
mean,
one
that's
move
fine.
instead of three.
That's fine. But
That's the way I would go.
yeah, I mean, the way I see the Philly, I mean, where do you guys handicap the division at this point? Because I see, yeah, the Nationals won the World Series. They lost their cleanup hitter. Yeah, the Braves got some young talent there, and they got Will Smith, but they lost their cleanup hitter. And the Mets, they don't even have a manager.
Lost their manager.
They lost the manager.
3 weeks before spring training starts.
And the Marlins are the Marlins.
And the Marlins, they're non-fact. They don't even count.
And it's hard to say right now.
You know
but
what's scary
you're
is
thinking
Syndergaard's
like,
only making $9 million this year.
you're thinking
What's
like,
that?
Syndergaard's only making $9 million this year.
what do you think, 92 wins this division, like early guess?
Yeah, I mean, what was it, 94 won it this year?
Yeah.
I think you're right around that same ballpark.
I was thinking like 92, 94.
Yeah.
Wins it for you.
You know, and I think, if you're looking from a Philly
Is that
standpoint,
us?
it comes down to what pitching do we get?
Yeah,
Does
that's-
Brian Price get the best out of
All these guys.
Velasquez, get the best out of, Pivetta? I've seen videos and pictures of Pivetta, and his bottom half looks
Well, I mean,
different.
that's like Ben shooting. in
I'm
the
not
summer.
saying, but it also translates easier for a
Gotta
pitcher,
see
though.
it. I get
It
it.
translates easier for a pitcher because it's all mental, it's all mechanically. So if he's more engaging his bottom half as a pitcher, that's what you're looking for. So if he's getting a little bit more hip rotation and then explosion on his release and follow through,
Well, he's my fifth Pivetta, right? You have Wheeler, Nola, Arrieta,
where's Eflin?
Eflin,
Okay,
Pivetta.
and Pivetta. Okay.
I've been bitching for Vince Velasquez to be a bullpen.
Oh, I don't think anyone
Welcome.
disagrees.
How you doing?
Yeah.
for 4 years.
Welcome to A2D, where I think
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
agrees.
I think okay, you can't look at all the guys. Mariano Rivera came up as a starter.
Yep.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't get through a lineup 3 times. He's the best closer ever.
Yep.
Not
No,
that
you're
Vince-
absolutely right.
Not that Vince Velasquez, Dennis Eckersley the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Chapman the same way. Not that he's going to be that kind of arm out of the bullpen,
But his arm plays better out of the bullpen.
Smoltz
Dude.
was like the only guy who was able to do both.
dude, go throw
We know.
go throw 98. Go try and throw 98 for 4 outs
Yeah.
like you want to do as a starter, and it never works.
Rev it up.
Shut up and sit down, LeBron.
And then
Tee him up right there. Just tee him up. You're not even in the game. Shut up and sit down.
I thought Kidd would be that. Like, look, he's so the head coach there.
He's not even.
Kid.
He's not even with the team. He's in the freaking.
No, I'm talking about Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be the head coach. I thought Vogel would get run out of town by LeBron and by Christmas.
I saw something the other day on either The Athletic or ESPN of how like whatever Vogel did, obviously is making them what they are.
Well, he's a
being able
defensive
being
guy.
able to mesh everybody, like all those minds.
He's
and-
a good coach.
Yeah.
but
No, he is.
He's not LeBron's guy.
right.
Kidd is LeBron's guy
Yeah.
because they get along.
Well, I think a combination of the whole coaching staff, sort of his guys.
Yeah.
Well,
Outside
I mean,
of
they're
Vogel.
also you also have 2 top 5 players in the league on your team.
Helps.
A lot.
Helps, and also helps to have smart basketball guys who played. And
then what? They fill in with Kuzma. They fill in with
Dwight Howard,
who's playing great. He's such a mutt, though.
Yeah. And then when he's not hurt, you got the likes of Josh Hart, who gives you some grit and, toughness.
No, Hart's on.
Did he go to New Orleans? Or
he's on the Pelicans.
The Pelicans, I'm sorry.
They got Rondo.
That's right, that was that deal. He was in that deal, I'm sorry.
They got Rondo. They got the guy from the Raptors last year that
Danny
made
Green.
that guy who made every shot against us.
Ugly.
So what?
Who is
There's
that
122 to 94. Where are you at, Ralph?
Is that Dustin Poirier, the MMA fighter? Is that his brother?
Did you guys watch Connor on
I
Saturday?
did. Yeah. He looked good. Shockingly looked good, but I don't think he could stay at 170 long term. I think the upper echelon.
See, now I'm not.
I think the upper echelon of that division.
I'm not into it, with the weight class.
Yeah.
But can he beat Masvidal, who I
Nah.
saw kick somebody's face off the last time I watched him fight?
Because again, Connor, guys like Nate Diaz, guys like Cowboy, they're not as big physically as some of the upper echelon guys, the title holders. Those guys are just physical strengths of men.
What's Khabib?
Khabib's 155. That's the next fight. If Khabib beats Tony here in less than a month, it's Khabib Connors the rematch is the next fight.
And Connor didn't look good at all against him because
Well,
Connor's
also,
natural weight is 155.
Yeah, 155. Yeah, that's his best weight.
He was clearly outclassed last time.
But you can't. He absolutely dominated Cerrone. There's no question about it. Now
I saw
holds
that coming from right before the fight. Yeah, I'll bet you wings on Wednesday if this doesn't get out of the first round.
Yeah, I mean it was dominating.
I get
it
wings
was
on Wednesday.
impressive, and it's sadly the most likable version of Conor McGregor anyone's ever seen.
Oh, he's not hammered and all fucked up.
Right, that's exactly it. He claims he's sober for now. At least training camp wise. I mean, he's not stopping drinking, but most guys when they go to training camp they quit it all so they can focus. And he was focused and he was determined.
That's what his thing. He was getting all fucked up when he was training.
Well, yeah. He said the Khabib fight he was drinking even the night before the fight. His own whiskey.
I mean, he did.
That's why he's fighting 55-year-olds in bars.
But he did look physically
better.
Well,
sure. Oh yeah. Oh no, he looks.
Eye-test-wise.
You're also not cutting weight. You know what I mean? He's also not cutting 15 pounds.
Yeah, which matters
which
so
kills
much,
you.
You know what I mean?
You know
who
what I
did
mean?
he cut? I'm trying to think. Who did he fight? Because he fought Khabib.
He caught Khabib at 155.
He had to go way up to fight Diaz, though.
Yes,
no?
and same thing with Cerrone. Well, see
but
those
Cerrone
Cerrone and Diaz are the same type of body builds, right? Just
get
tall,
that.
lanky guys.
I get that, but I mean, they just threw Cerrone out there to get Conor a win and do exactly what we're doing right now. Talk about how Conor looked great.
There's no question.
And then he's going to fight.
But and anyone that would a clue knows that Usman, who's the title holder, is dominating him. Tyron Woodley, who's the number one contender, who's got a big fight coming up in 2 weeks or 3 weeks against Leon Edwards. Another guy would dominate them at 170 because they're just physically so much bigger. They're going to cut down to 170, and then on fight night, they're going to be back up near 200 where they normally walk around at.
Right.
Where Conor's got to build up to 170 to get there.
And then you got the boxing match on the 22nd of February.
Which is?
Fury Wilder.
Oh, Fury Wilder, yeah.
Which is both undefeated.
Should be a good one. I'm a Deontay guy. I met him a couple years ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is he a Philly guy or no?
No. He's from Alabama, but he was Atlantic City on a night when Bernard Hopkins fought down there in Atlantic City. So I met him, got a picture with him. His fist was as big as my face. So I've always been, since then, I've been a Wilder guy.
That's awesome. When's the last time we had two heavies, a high-profile heavyweight fight?
About right now, because you have three of them, essentially, with Anthony Joshua. You got Wilder and Fury. Those are the big names, and then you got Anthony Joshua, who's got a couple titles.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's been Floyd for so long.
No, you're absolutely right, and there hasn't been a lot of heavyweights until
it's
now.
A different ballgame.
Now is where the heavyweights come in, and the heavyweights are starting to build up and get back to what boxing used to be in Tyson.
Are you a big boxing guy?
I'm a big degenerate. Yes, I'm a huge boxing guy.
So do you have a lean on that fight?
I want and I lean Wilder just because I'm going to go with the younger fighter. You know what I mean? Fury's 38, something like that.
Old?
Yeah, he's pretty old.
Wilder's a pimp.
And Wilder, I'm always going to go with the guy that's going to have. Not that Fury can't knock you out, but Wilder has that knockout punch.
Wilder did knock him out for like 5 seconds, and the ref didn't stop it, and then Wilder just got up somehow.
Yeah.
And then it was a draw.
So
which I don't think it was a draw.
No, I mean, I would rather have a draw than they call it one way or the other. Because I thought Wilder won, but you could also.
No one likes to kiss their sister.
But you could also
you
saw a point where you could have given it to Fury too, because he knocked Wilder down late.
Yeah, but I don't care who. I don't. Care
I think
guys.
Wilder takes this next
Just
fight because I think he's also fought most recently too. Fury's been out doing WWE stuff.
Really?
He did a pay-per-view a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago.
Because didn't Cain Velasquez try and be in the WWE?
Yeah.
He did one match.
He did one match with Brock.
And Brock messed him up.
Yeah, and Brock messed him up because that was,
We got the only one wrestling comment from Rosca tonight.
I saw that.
At the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, at the Royal Rumble next week.
That's probably where if Conor can't beat these guys, that's where he's gonna end up.
Yeah,
like the guys that.
I don't know if he would because he's so marketable in every other way. He's got his whiskey, which is one of the biggest selling whiskeys out there right now. So the dude doesn't need money. He probably booked himself probably close to $10 million in this fight alone, and then he's gonna fight Khabib again, and he's gonna make a run at the 170 title. So. And he's not jumping into the top 5.
It doesn't matter if he loses 5 fights in a row. They're still going to book him.
They're still going to book him. It's like Dana said. They're like, oh, what direction do you want to go? He's now Floyd's throwing out the rematch in boxing. Pacquiao's throwing out a promo poster of Pacquiao versus McGregor.
Pacquiao needs to go to bed.
Well, Pacquiao would destroy McGregor in boxing.
Yeah. McGregor's not a boxer.
No, I know. But where Floyd let him hang out, Pacquiao will stand there and then knock his head off.
That's how Floyd fights.
Right. No, you're absolutely correct. So it's like, now that Conor's back in good graces, he's so high in demand, there's no need for him to go to the WWE side where some of these other guys have to at the end of the career.
WWE's not real.
It's still real to me, damn it.
I'm just saying, you could show up and talk a bunch of shit on the mic, cut a check, and then go fight whoever in the octagon on Saturday.
Yeah, but contractually they can't necessarily do that because they're not going to want their fighter to get hurt by botching a move or something.
That's why you have him show up and talk.
Well, then what's the allure then?
I mean, if you see Conor McGregor is going to be on Raw to do some bullshit confrontation, you're not flipping on the TV.
I'm watching the TV anyway.
I guess.
I'm watching Raw anyway. But to your point, yes, Ronda Rousey was a huge hit when the WWE came over. When she came over to WWE,
I'm trying to look at Jorge Masvidal.
Jorge Masvidal would absolutely dominate him.
How much does he weigh?
He's a 170.
So you got a 170 division that's just loaded.
It's loaded with just big humans of guys that are just going to just outstrength Conor. Now, is there always a chance? Absolutely, because
he's always got a
because he's got that left hand, right?
I still can't believe he dropped Aldo like he did.
Lane Johnson added to the Pro Bowl roster. If anyone cares,
I care 2 shits.
No,
we were
just talking. My dad were just talking about it last night. The Pro Bowl is stupid.
Yeah,
give me the All Pro.
My dad will be working it. He said. I talked to him today. He's working it.
Oh, it's in Florida?
Yeah, it's at the Camping World Stadium.
But give me the All Pro. What'd they have? Kelsey made All Pro.
Yeah.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
Fletcher Cox made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Didn't have a good year. Sorry.
Nope.
Sorry. 3 sacks. That's not Pro Bowl.
No, I don't agree. I completely agree.
Do you have a lean on the Super Bowl, Tom? Obviously, it's 2 weeks away, but
yeah, I mean,
talked about it at the top.
My early feels Kansas City. I think the explosive offense, I think their skill position players match well on what the Niners have in their secondary, and they can just hit you from so many spots, man.
I can't get past.
It's just hard to beat that. Can San Fran throw the ball 30 times and beat them? You know what I mean? That's the question mark. Not that Garoppolo can't throw, but I don't see it. You know what I mean?
How good do you think he is, though?
I think he can play. I'm not saying he can't play.
But what does that top 10, top 15.
He's probably top 15.
I can't get past Greg likes the Niners, but I can't get past Mahomes versus Garoppolo.
No, I'm going to go with the star quarterback. A guy who thinks I can make more plays and help his team win even more than relying on a running game when this Chiefs defense can play. So they're going to get overlooked throughout these 2 weeks. I'm just telling the public now.
Yeah.
They'll get overlooked. They won't be talked about. It'll be Mahomes, how great, the defense are going to go play, and how great the running game is, and that's going to be the storylines. And at the end of the day, I think the biggest storyline, the difference maker of this game, is an underrated Chiefs defense. And the fact that they can put up 40 on anybody. I don't give a shit who you are.
Who do you think has the advantage in terms of the head coach?
Oh, I don't think there's any question that's Andy Reid. And that's not a shot at Kyle Shanahan, because I think Kyle Shanahan is one of the up-and-coming brightest guys around. You know what I mean? Obviously. So it's no disrespect to Kyle. It's just I'm going to go with the guy who's been around the dance a lot. Not that Shanahan hasn't, but that was as a coordinator.
But he's been around his whole life too.
No, I mean, he has. But it's different when you're the guy.
No, I agree.
And you're leading the charge. And I'm just going to go with a more experienced I just feel like a more experienced team in this situation too, a little bit. A little bit more playoff tested from last year. Getting to an AFC title game. You know what I mean? They made the next step.
Yeah.
They got better defensively than Tyrann Mathieu, Frank Clark. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got better. So at the end of the day, I'm going to put my money on an explosive offense. Who's more explosive offensively? And we're playing in a warm weather environment.
They just can't drop behind like they've been doing.
No, I don't think they can do that. You can't pull this off in this game.
No.
You can't get down 17-0 against this team, because that's when the dogs come out.
The only thing that's Andy's MO in these big spots.
Well, we're going to find out. It's going to be a good one, though.
It's going to be a good game.
Should be fun.
And we talked about it. I mean, nothing can – I mean, you can only go up from last year's debacle.
Offsides and all? Oh, no, you're talking
I'm
about
talking
the
about
Super
last
Bowl.
year's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's about
13-3
as entertaining.
The worst thing ever.
As you being tired.
The greatest coach in the history of coaches was, Sean McVay.
I couldn't
He's the greatest.
Couldn't get the Ferrari out of the garage.
Nope. No, Shanahan run through the same thing. We're going to find out. But, I mean, the same coordinator who lost a pretty big lead in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And was definitely calling the plays there. So, there's no – what's his face wasn't calling the plays. I'm drawing a blank on their head coach.
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn wasn't calling the plays. He's a defensive guy.
Was it still him?
Yeah. He wasn't calling the plays. He was a defensive guy. So, Shanahan called them plays.
Yep.
Big part of one of the biggest collapses. So, Andy's fell short. Kyle hasn't won shit yet. So, part of me's a little heart because I want Andy to win.
I want to see Andy win.
I want to see Andy win. So, part of me, no disrespect to the Niners because they're fucking good.
Yeah.
But I just want to see Andy win.
All right. That'll do it. Sports Hounds will be back next Monday. Brad will be back in the mix. We'll have more Super Bowl talk, more baseball talk. Until then, peace.